Pattice's instant rava dosa and coconut chutney recipe. Now here I've taken exactly 1 cup of very fine rava or semolina, 1 cup of rice flour. If you don't have rice flour, you can use maida, and half a cup of yogurt or dahi. And I'm also going to be using some salt to taste. Now I have a recipe of how to make your own dahi or curd at home. I will leave a link below. Now I'm going to add this semolina or this rava to my bowl, mixing bowl in which we're going to make our batter. Next I'm going to add my rice flour. Then we will add in the dahi or the curd. Next, we are going to add some salt to taste. And then we're going to mix all of this well. Now we're going to add a little water at a time. And we're going to whisk this till we get a very smooth and runny batter. We don't want a very thick batter like a dosa batter. We want a very runny batter. So your batter should have this kind of runny, liquidy consistency. Now we're going to cover and set this aside for at least an hour. Now we're going to heat our iron pan. And now when we're ready to make the dosa, see the batter, it is nice and runny like this. We're going to add in some light green chilies, some grated ginger and some chopped up curry leaves. Now I leave all the ingredients along with their exact measurements in the description box below. Now ensure that your iron tawa or your dosa tawa that you use regularly is nice and hot. Now we're just going to brush a little oil on the tawa. And we're going to stir the batter once and we're going to pour it in this manner, starting from the edges and then moving towards the center. And you have to get this kind of porous kind of a dosa. Now let the dosa cook really nice and well on a low to medium flame till the edges start to brown. So this should take you at least half a minute or sometimes even up to a minute. But this takes some time for the dosa to really crisp up. Now if you don't want a very crispy dosa, then the minute the edges turn brown, you can flip it off. But if you want a real nice crispy rava dosa, then just wait for it to become nice and brown. And all the edges have to nicely brown up. Now you can see that all the edges have turned nice and brown. And now I can just loosen up the dosa and then flip it. Now we want to cook this on the lower side too for at least a little, at least half a minute or even less than half a minute, for a few seconds till it browns nicely on the lower side too. And then we're going to flip it and then just turn it in this fashion and serve it in your plate. So this is how you're going to just continue till you're done with the batter, or how many ever dosas you want to make. And our dosa is ready. And now I'm just going to show you a quick chutney recipe which you can make to accompany this dosa. It's very simple, friends. So here all I have used is some green chili, some lime, some chopped up garlic and some ginger, grated ginger. I'll leave all the instructions in the description box below. Some fresh grated coconut, some coriander, some salt and sugar. So I just added all of that to my mixer, and I'm just going to squeeze in the juice of half a lemon. And I'm just going to grind this, adding very little water, maybe just about a tablespoon or two, till I get this type of a coarsely ground chutney. And that's it, friends. Your instant rava dosa and coconut chutney is all ready. So you can make this for your breakfast and enjoy it. chapatis. Now I've taken about a teaspoon of oil, and I'm going to add about a cup of whole wheat flour. Now you can add salt, or I refrain from adding salt. Uh, and then I'm just going to add a little water at a time, and I'm going to mix all of this very well together to form a regular, chapati dough or puri dough. Now, the dough has to be kneaded really well. It has to be nice and smooth and soft, yet it has to be firm. It shouldn't be, falling like a pizza dough. It shouldn't be very, very soft. It should be just a kind of a firm dough. That is, as you're kneading it, you should find the firmness. You shouldn't find a lot of moisture in it. And if you find that, just keep adding a little water at a time. So it should be firm, it should be smooth, and it should be, like your hands shouldn't have any more of the dough or the wheat flour on your hands. Your hands should be completely clean. So you keep on kneading this dough till you get that consistency. So I leave the measurements of how much flour I used, how much of water I used in the description box below. So now let's get making this beautiful Goan chapatis, which are square as you've seen in the pic. Now I've got my pan heating on a low to medium heat. I'm going to take a little bit of dry flour. I'm going to take a large lime size bowl of the flour. Now I've stored the remaining flour in my steel container in my refrigerator. So I've just taken a little bit of it just to show you all how to make this beautiful Goan chapatis. So you roll them nicely till they're nice and smooth. Just press it down like this. And then we're going to put a little bit more of flour, and we're just going to roll this with our rolling pin just to form a small little round. Yeah, that's about it. Now we're going to drizzle a few drops of this clarified butter or ghee, and we're going to spread it around evenly so that it coats the entire circle. Now we're going to fold one half like this, the other half like this way, and then we're going to dust a little more flour on the top. And then you're just going to roll the pin in such a way that you keep getting the square. So you only roll it on the edges, don't roll it in the middle. Start rolling from the sides only. And that way, you keep doing this and you'll get this really, this typical square kind of, uh, shape. It does come with practice, but don't give up. Just try and try. You will get it. And even if it comes a little bit out of shape or if it comes a little bit round, it's okay. So I'm just going to show you again from a different angle. So if you fold it in this way, you will get the square shape. Just keep rolling the pin over the edges and not from the center. Now, sometimes if you find that your dough is really hard, then you just have to add a little bit more of water and a few drops of oil, and just keep kneading it. If you find that your dough is very slimy and has a lot of water, then keep adding flour. Now over here, for about 1 cup of flour, I used about 3/4 cup of water. That also adding a little at a time till I found, it was the right consistency. And adding the oil after kneading and keeping it aside also helps in, getting the dough to the right consistency. It does come with practice, friends. And I too, after practicing, I can, make the chapati dough to the right consistency and the right square and everything. Some of you all might be even, some of you might be experts in this field. So now that your tawa or your pan is hot, you'll now roast the chapati on one side. You'll see the little bubbles to come up. Just turn it on the other side. You'll see this white kind of color on the other side. Just turn it over again, and then you'll see that it starts to fluff up a little at the edges. Turn it on the other side. Now it starts fluffing up nicely. Now, ideally, we use like my grandmother, my dad used to use this round iron, tawas, which were pretty heavy. and they were the traditional ones. They had a little bit of kind of a like a bowl, a deep bowl kind of shape, and the chapatis used to come amazing in that. And it was a ritual at my place when I was a kid that you have to have at least 2 chapatis with your tea before going to school or college. So these Goan chapatis are really great. Even if you just put some jam and butter and roll them up, they are divine. So the uniqueness of this is that it's square. The uniqueness is that, okay, you put a little bit of ghee on top and make it nice and crispy. And then you'll see that when I tear up the, chapati, you'll see the lovely layers also that it forms. So my chapati is ready. It looks amazing, and the aroma also is. In the video, I've shown you how to prep the vegetables for the soup. So I'm just going to take one medium-sized potato, and we're just going to peel it. First you wash the potato, peel it, and then just slice it into half and then into these little small cubes. So similarly, you can chop up the onions and the tomatoes also, as I've shown you here, and then we'll start with the recipe. So now that all our veggies and everything are ready, let me take you through the ingredients. So here I've kept the potato in some water so that it doesn't blacken. That is one medium-sized potato. This is 2 small tomatoes, one and a half medium-sized onion. This is 1 chicken soup cube. This is about half a cup of macaroni, 1 teaspoon of black pepper powder, and you can use salt if required. Now here I've heated about 1 tablespoon of oil, and I'm going to add my onion, and I'm going to fry the onion till it becomes translucent on a low to medium flame. Then I'm going to add my tomatoes, and I'm going to cook the tomatoes till they're nice and mushy. So this should take you about a minute till both of them are fried. I'm going to drain all the water out of the potatoes, and I'm going to add the potato cubes. Fry the potatoes a bit. Next goes in about 2 cups of water. Mix everything well. I'm going to add the macaroni, add the cheese, add the soup cube and the pepper powder. Give everything a stir. You can also give this a little bit of a taste and see that whether you need to add salt or no, because the soup cube has enough of salt. And then we're going to boil, keep the flame on high till it comes to a boil. We're going to stir in between so that the macaroni doesn't stick to the bottom. And then we're just going to simmer this for about 10 to 15 minutes, stirring in between. And we're going to boil this mixture till the potatoes are cooked well and the macaroni is cooked well. And that's it, friends. Your lovely Goan macaroni soup is all ready. You can have it piping hot and enjoy it. Now I've taken about 3 light green chilies. These chilies are not really very spicy, but they add a lovely flavor. Just 2 small cloves of garlic, about 1 cup of fresh coriander, and about 1 inch of ginger. So I'm just going to add all of this to my mixer pot, and I'm going to add some salt and grind this to a very fine paste. Now I'm going to also add a little bit of lemon juice, about half a lemon juice, half a lime, because that retains the lovely green color of the chutney, and it also adds a beautiful flavor to the chutney. And once that is done, you can transfer the chutney to a bowl. So now let's start making this amazing veg cheese grilled sandwich. Now this sandwich is very, very simple to make, and it has very few ingredients, stuff that we always have in our kitchen. So let's go through the ingredients. Now I've just chopped up some capsicum and some onions into thin strips or slices. Then I'm using some finely ground black pepper, some chaat masala, some grated cheese, and some bread. Now I'm using brown bread, but you can use white bread too. Now I've got a pan heating on a low flame. I'm going to take my slices of bread. So I'm going to be making 2 sandwiches. So I've taken 4 slices of bread. Now I'm going to just apply some butter onto all the 4 slices. So you can just cut up your vegetables into thin slices like this, 1 capsicum and 1 onion. You can do it in advance so that you can just get the sandwich ready when you need to serve. And then I'm just going to spread some of the green chutney onto one side of the sandwich, so onto 2 slices. Then I'm just going to add some of the chopped up capsicum or green bell pepper. You can add as much or as little as you like. This adds a lovely crunch to the sandwich. And then I'm going to add up my thinly sliced onions. Next, I'm just going to sprinkle some black pepper powder. Now, this is homemade pepper powder. All you need to do is just roast the peppercorns. Once they come to room temperature, just grind them to a fine powder. And then I'm just going to sprinkle some chaat masala. You can add as much or as little as you like. But the chaat masala also really elevates the taste of this sandwich, and it really makes it very tasty. And then I'm just going to add some regular processed cheese, grated cheese. You can add mozzarella too, or any cheese that you regularly add to your sandwiches. Remember to heat your pan. You can use a sandwich pan, or you can use a normal regular tawa or pan that we use. And then just apply a little bit of butter onto one side. And then place the sandwiches onto the pan. And just press them down. Now, one trick which I like to do, which makes the sandwiches really, compact, is just put a plate and then put some kind of a heavy object on top of it. So here I'm just putting this heavy item on this, and then after that, one side is golden brown. You just put butter onto the other side. I just have this brass mortar, so I'm just going to put that because it's nice and heavy, and it presses down the sandwich and makes it really compact and seals it up, just like you would get, on any street cart or a sandwich stall. And do that to the other side too. And then just get the sandwich nice and golden brown on both sides. And that's as simple as it gets. This is really, really delicious, and it gets ready also very, very quickly. So you can make it a very dark brown color, or you can just keep it as a nice golden brown color like this. And then once you cut it up, you can see that the cheese has melted and everything is really looking amazing. So do try this out, friends. So friends, let's see today's delicious pear crisp recipe. Now we're going to start by making the crisp, which is super simple, very few ingredients. So let's go through the ingredients. So here I have 3/4 of a cup of flour, that is plain flour. This is 1 cup of oats, rolled oats, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon powder, 2/3 of a cup of brown sugar, and 7 tablespoons of butter that I've just cubed up, so it's at just between cold and room temperature. Now I'm going to mix all of the dry ingredients together first and just whisk them so they all get mixed in really well. Now either you can use ready-made cinnamon powder, or what I do is I just take about an inch of cinnamon and just grind it to a very fine powder in my mortar and pestle, or sometimes I just take a lot of cinnamon and grind it in my mixer jar on my dry grinder and make a powder and store it up. So now I've added the butter and I'm just going to mix the butter in well. You can also use your hands for this. But see that everything really comes together well like this. And the consistency should be such that when you hold it in your hand, it all comes together. So now I'm just going to put this in the refrigerator for 5 minutes and now we'll prepare our pears. So here I've taken 3 medium pears and I've just washed them really well, and I've already cut up one. So I'm going to show you how I've cut the pear up. So you're going to cut it up in this way. First hold it up vertically and cut it in the center. Then cut each half where the seeds are or the pips are. And then you're just going to cut off the portion with the pips and the edges also, or the ends, that is the stalk. Now these pears should be between, not completely ripe. They shouldn't be overripe and they shouldn't be, like really firm either. So they should be just right so that they're nice, just ready to eat. So then I'm going to just chop them up in this fashion. And the best part about the crisp is that, when you bite into it, on top you get this lovely crispy layer. And when you get the pear, it's nice and soft and juicy. And we are going to, flavor it with a few ingredients like I'll show you now. And so that now that my pears are chopped, I'm just going to add 2 teaspoons of lime juice. Next, I'm going to dust in or add 1.5 teaspoon of corn flour. Now what the corn flour does is it just separates the pears so that they don't stick together. And then I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of powdered sugar. Now the pears are already sweet, so we don't want to sweeten them too much with sugar. And now mix all of this really well together and set it aside for about 2 to 3 minutes. Now here I've taken my baking tray and just buttering it up so that it doesn't stick too much to the base. And now I'm going to add the pears. So you can go with as much as you want or as little as you want. You can also do a mixture of pear and apple. Also toss in, if you have strawberries or anything that goes well with pears, you can add that. And now I'm just going to put this crumble all over it, or this crisp all over it. Now it has got oats in it, it's got brown sugar, so the flavors are really amazing, and the oats really adds to a lovely crunch. And now I'm just going to bake it at 180 degrees Celsius for 15 minutes. And here it is, all ready, and the aroma is also really amazing. And I'm just going to let it come to room temperature before I cut it to it. And it cuts up so easily with a lovely crunch on the top. I can't just wait to dig in. And this is best served with some lovely chilled ice cream. So you have this hot pear crisp and some lovely ice cream to go with it. So today I didn't have any vanilla ice cream at home, but I did have cookies and cream. So I'm having it with that. So you can see the lovely pears that are already cooked to perfection. Nice and soft and juicy, and the lovely crisp on the top. So wasn't that really simple? It got ready also pretty quickly. I just love it, and I'm just waiting to dig into it. And I'm just going to put it into my bowl and just put a small dollop of ice cream. I don't want to overpower it with the ice cream. So there's my lovely cookies and cream ice cream. I think I have a recipe for this. I will link it down below. And just dig into it, get the fruit and the crisp and the ice cream. I'm trying to struggle with the camera as well as trying to get everything onto my spoon. And guys, it was so delicious. You have to try out this recipe.